Imagine spending 3 years building a business that is slowly destroying your life. It barely makes money. You no longer believe in it. And every month you tell yourself the same thing. I can't stop now. I've already invested too much. So you invest another month, then another $1,000, then another year. Not because the future looks promising, but because walking away would force you to admit that the past cannot be recovered. This happens in businesses, but it also happens in careers, friendships, investments, and relationships. We remain loyal to decisions that no longer deserve our loyalty, and strangely, the more those decisions cost us, the harder they become to abandon. Psychologists have a name for this: the sunk cost effect. A sunk cost is anything you have already spent and cannot recover: money, time, energy, effort. Sometimes even your identity. Logically, these costs should have no influence on what you do next. The past cannot be changed. The only rational question is, from this moment forward, is continuing still worth it? But that is not how the human mind naturally operates. Imagine buying an expensive ticket to a movie. 30 minutes into the film, you realize it is terrible. You are bored, tired, and would genuinely be happier at home. Leaving is the better choice. But then another thought appears. I paid for this ticket. I should at least finish the movie. So you sacrifice another 90 minutes to justify money that is already gone. Staying does not bring the money back. It only adds wasted time to the money you already lost. Yet leaving feels like accepting defeat, and that feeling can be more painful than sitting through a terrible movie. In 1985, psychologists Hal Arks and Catherine Bloomer published an influential study about this behavior. In one field experiment, people bought season tickets for a theater. Some paid the normal price, while others received different discounts. During the first part of the theater season, the people who had paid more attended more performances. The performances were the same. The tickets had already been purchased, but the amount people had paid continued influencing their behavior. Those who had spent more appeared to feel a stronger need to get their money's worth. This is what makes the sunk cost effect so powerful. An investment does not only create a financial cost, it creates psychological pressure. We do not want our money to have been wasted. We do not want our effort to have meant nothing. And we do not want to believe that our earlier decision was wrong. So instead of judging the future honestly, we try to protect the past. But the past cannot be protected. It has already happened. Part of this behavior is connected to loss aversion, the well-established finding that losses can affect our decisions more strongly than equivalent gains. Walking away forces us to mentally turn an uncertain situation into a confirmed loss. While we continue, we can still tell ourselves, maybe it will work. Maybe the relationship will improve. Maybe the investment will recover. Maybe all these years will eventually be worth it. Possibility keeps the loss from feeling final. But hope can become dangerous when it is based only on what you have already invested and not on evidence about what comes next. There is also something even deeper involved: identity. Imagine studying for 5 years to enter a particular profession. Your family is proud of you. Your friends associate you with that career. You have spent money, rejected other opportunities, and built your future around it. Then you discover that the work makes you miserable. Changing direction would not simply mean changing jobs. It might feel like changing who you are. You would have to explain your decision. You might disappoint people. And you may wonder whether those 5 years were wasted. So you remain trapped, not because the career is right for your future, but because it has become part of the story you tell about your past. The same thing happens in relationships. Someone may think, we've been together for 6 years. I can't throw that away. But those 6 years are already gone, regardless of whether the relationship continues. The real question is not, have we invested too much to leave? It is, if nothing changes, would I freely choose another 6 years of this? That question feels brutal because it removes history from the decision. It forces you to look only at the future. Businesses fall into the same trap. A company invests millions into a failing project. The evidence becomes worse. Deadlines are missed. Customers are not interested. But canceling the project would mean admitting that the original decision was wrong, so the company spends more. Management calls it commitment. But sometimes commitment is simply fear wearing professional clothing. Of course, continuing is not always irrational. Good things often require patience. A difficult month does not mean a business has failed. An argument does not mean a relationship should end. Slow progress does not mean a goal is worthless. The difference lies in the reason you continue. Are you continuing because current evidence suggests that the future can improve? Or are you continuing because you cannot emotionally accept what you have already lost? One is persistence, the other is entrapment. So, how do you recognize the difference? Use what we can call the zero history test. Imagine that you had invested nothing yet. No money, no time, no reputation, no emotional attachment. Knowing everything you know today, would you still choose to begin? Would you buy this investment today? Would you accept this job today? Would you enter this partnership today? Would you build this product today? If the answer is no, ask yourself why you are choosing to continue. A second method is to replace the past with future costs. Do not say, I have already spent $10,000. Say, continuing will cost another $5,000 in 6 months of my life. Based on what I know now, is that a good investment? This changes the decision. You stop asking whether the past was worth it. You start asking whether the future will be. A third method is to define your exit conditions before emotion takes control. Before starting a project, decide, how much am I willing to lose? How long will I test this? What evidence would prove that it is not working? At what point will I stop? An exit rule protects your future self from desperately moving the finish line, because once your ego becomes attached to a decision, almost any result can be transformed into a reason to continue. Finally, separate a failed decision from a failed identity. Making the wrong choice does not make you stupid. Refusing to correct it because you are afraid of looking stupid is what causes the real damage. The time you invested may still have taught you something. The relationship may have changed you. The business may have developed your skills. Leaving does not erase those lessons. It simply prevents the price of the lesson from increasing. You are not required to keep making the same decision simply because you have made it for a long time. Sometimes strength means continuing when progress is slow, but sometimes strength means accepting that the cost is gone, the lesson is learned, and the future deserves a different decision. The past has already taken what it cost. Do not automatically give it your future too.